Hello, welcome back to this depressing podcast. Well, I say that, it's not really depressing, is it, guys?
I'll get a free bank holiday this year.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
one.
Uh, I guess it'll be a short episode. I can't be bothered doing an hour long episode. This entire week has been pretty interesting, to say the least. Yeah, lol. Um, I don't know. Hello?
Well,
Oh, Jesus Christ. Um, so obviously we got the whole Liz Truss, mumbo jumbo leadership election, haha. And
New Prime
yeah,
Minister,
new prime
yay.
minister makes it
yeah,
even
you
better.
know, another
Like,
one we didn't vote for.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
crazy. We love
I
democracy.
love it when that happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, how many times that happens? Is it 2 or 3 times?
Six.
six.
No, not six. There's been six
Five.
Tory Prime Ministers. It's happened
Five. It's
one.
five, right?
No, it's happened 3 times, hasn't it? Because Theresa May. No,
No, yeah,
no,
Theresa
it's
May's
happened
only been after.
twice. It's
Yeah.
happened twice, hasn't it?
I was wondering if it happened in history.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'm not too sure.
Well, in our current history, I'd say it's been four, I think, out of the five. Or is it three? Yeah. No, because you got Johnson, Liz Truss, and then Theresa May. Yeah, well. So, good record that, crazy. Anyway, went to form a government, and she touched the Queen, and the Queen
ended
died.
up killing the Queen in the
Exactly.
process.
Like, yeah. It's like,
I mean,
it's like poetry, as George Lucas says. It rhymes. It's crazy. It's just, yeah.
Very, very interesting now that there's a lot of videos surfacing of Liz Truss when she was younger at a Liberal Democrat conference, talking about how she wants to abolish the monarchy and how she's so
I know,
anti-monarchy,
crazy.
and yet 2 days after she goes to see her at Balmoral, the Queen just pops her clogs.
No. Not to
Kinda-
be
kinda
like a
sus.
conspiracy therapist.
You know,
Conspiracy
not
theorist, yeah.
suggesting anything
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
but
Seems a bit sus, really, doesn't
Little
it?
bit.
Yeah.
me if,
I know.
me if I met Liz Truss, I'd probably die as well.
Yeah.
die of cringe.
Try to cringe, yeah. Close proximity to like one of the worst human beings ever. I think you'll just die from cringe anyway.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty obvious we all do not like Liz Truss anyway. Like,
No,
let's be
I
real.
don't like her at all.
Awful human being.
I
I-
watched Prime Minister's Questions on Wednesday, and
It's like,
listening to her voice just annoys me.
yeah.
Right.
Did you see the speech at the Conservative Party conference where they said stuff about British food? I'm sorry, but like, no offense to you British people, but like, my God, your cuisine is awful. I'm gonna be honest. Like, let's be real. What, like, Yorkshire tea? We're exporting it to the world. It's like, okay, cool. You know the tea that's grown in Africa? Yeah. Real quick, yeah.
Was it
Just
not
saying.
India?
It's so dumb. My God.
This country doesn't make anything. We don't really do that much.
Exactly.
Oh.
We're just
We're gonna
yeah.
we're gonna fail.
We're reliving the glory days of the British Empire. You know, it's nothing. Like,
Mhm.
don't have an empire anymore. It's why
No,
you.
no,
Yeah.
no, we have a few islands in like the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, but resources wise, that's nothing. Lol.
Oh yeah, resource-wise, we're poor as hell. Unless
Mm,
we mine the Antarctic,
hell yeah.
then we have to break some international laws. But you know,
Mm,
money and gold, oil and gold, what precious minerals down there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we could, we could.
I'm curious about all the opinions of the royal family specifically.
What's the point? What's the point of them?
Yeah. I-
Honestly, why? What's the point of them?
I know. I get. I don't. I just don't like the fact people put them on a pedestal. At the end of the day, they are just humans, like the rest of us. Like, they are just normal human beings. They just had the privilege of like being in like a very dangerous family that's existed for like a millennia. Says as much really about this world.
I think one of the most annoying parts about it is I get, obviously, yeah, she was a person, and it's sad that,
Mm.
well, people are very, very sad that she's died, but it's like
She's
It's
lived a
seen
long
videos of people on the street, like regular citizens, bawling their eyes out, like crazy over her, and I'm just like, I don't know, I've
Yeah.
never understood that connection people have with him. Like, they're so
Yeah.
disconnected from
Yeah.
regular people's lives. I don't understand how you could be
Yeah.
that attached.
I think comparison-wise, it feels like a cult of personality. It's a bit of a stretch to make, but it does seem like that, if you know what I mean. Like, look
Yeah.
at the Kim family in North Korea. Like, when the second Kim died, I forgot his name, Kim
Mm.
Jong-un's father. Like, you could just see people hysterically like crying, not because of like, obviously there's the fear element of being executed for not being sincere, but also like they're seen as gods there. Like,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. It's a bit of a stretch comparison, but it's kind of comparable at the same time. It's just so how ingrained out this monarchy is in our culture. It's kind of ironic, I guess.
I think the strange thing as well is like, oh, what was I gonna say? Like, it sounds really weird,
Yeah.
but even I was thinking this yesterday. Like, when we were born, like you know, you hear about the Queen and stuff like that, and she's been in our lives the whole time.
Mm.
It's almost like because she was living that long, you almost kind of feel like, oh, she's
normalized.
always gonna be there. She's
Yeah.
never gonna die. So I think it has shocked a few people, which obviously she's going to die at some point, but I think a lot of people are like, oh, I never thought in my lifetime the Queen would die 'cause it's a massive thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, she's just a person. Of
Yeah.
course she was
Exactly.
going to
That's my
die.
point. Like,
I mean, we'd all be lucky to live that long. Like, how
Yeah.
old was she? Like 90,
56.
96? Bloody hell.
yeah. And let's not talk about the current king we have as of recording this on a Friday, 9th of September.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charles. I'm gonna be honest. The guy should not be king. He's like, my God, he's too involved in it. Like, he has too many opinions on politics when he was like heir apparent. Shouldn't be doing that anyway. So
I mean, at the end of the, I mean, I've never been a royalist. I'm very, very strong Republican.
Yeah.
Like, I do not like the royal family at all. So obviously I don't want him to be king, but I don't want any of them to be a monarch. Like, I just don't see the point. I almost feel like now that the Queen's dead, I feel like there should be a debate about getting rid of the monarchy. I genuinely think there should. Why is that not a debate now? Because I mean, everyone loved the Queen. Is it going to be the same with having a king, having Charles as a monarchy? Will that be the same for people, or you know what I mean? Because I don't think it will.
It don't.
I think people liked the Queen for who she was, not
And-
because she
yeah.
was the Queen.
And let's be real. Charles is quite despised. I'm not gonna lie. Even
Very
I'm in that camp.
controversial figure.
Yeah, very controversial. It's like, remember Edward the eighth or whatever? Didn't he like? He traveled to Nazi Germany and met Adolf Hitler. Says much, really, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And let's not get started on the amazing history of the royal family. You know, Prince Andrew. You know, very controversial family, and yeah, again, it's not much to say really. It's just awful. But another thing I do want to catch up on. Obviously, we're in this quote unquote mourning period, but it does seem like we're not really going to be talking about the important issues affecting everyone in this country at the moment. Cost of living. It feels like it's going to be deflected for ages now, like because of what's been going on with the royal family.
Well, I saw.
we're not
Go on,
we're
Jake.
not going to control the energy companies. We're not going to try and lower the price of
Yeah, exactly.
gas and electricity. Sorry, Queen's dead. Sorry.
Exactly. So the only thing
Nah,
that news are going to be talking about for a week or so now.
Yeah.
Radio
No,
to-
I saw a friend of mine put a post up and on Facebook earlier, basically saying like, obviously we're in this mourning period. No, not a friend of mine. So it was I think it was Owen
Was it
Jones who put it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said
Saw that.
about, of course, we're in this mourning period, but he said, you know, we still are in a cost of living crisis and people need their income. So people like mass, like,
'Cause it's closing
refunding
businesses
tickets
that-
for events and stuff like that and all that is not going to be helpful for people. Like, people still need that income.
Yeah, like specifically like small businesses or like theatre
Yeah.
groups and all that. Specifically groups that like do rely on the public for them to like provide them support by actually providing
Yeah,
a
of
service. If you know what I mean. Yeah, it's just I guess like for the country, it's a bit of a shock as well, because like you were saying how normalized we've had with like having the Queen around for ages. So
Yeah.
it will be a shake up. It's gonna be weird. And yeah,
At the end of the day, it doesn't affect me at all.
exactly.
Like,
Same. Like
yeah.
the royal family have no effect on my life whatsoever.
No.
Like honestly, personally, I don't really care. If you love the royal family, I don't really care, to be honest. Like the way I view it, they're just human beings like you and me, and they just have the privilege of being, a family that had the biggest army ever to like defeat other families that were fighting for the position of like a throne. God's grace and all that, whatever. It just says much, I guess. Like yeah, honestly. And yeah, it's going to be a really turbulent time. Like we're going into winter now as well, so there will be people suffering, which is going to be worse. And I feel like we're going to be distracted.
Moving on to like that whole Liz Truss thing now. It's just like I don't know. I think in a way it's kind of got me more involved in politics again now. Like, I'm getting more into it because I don't know. I feel like I'm just getting to that point where I've had enough.
Yeah.
When I was watching PMQs the other day, it made me really angry. Like Keir Starmer came off pretty strong, to be fair, but the stuff she was saying back, like he's there saying, you say that you oppose a windfall tax. Do you still oppose it? And she's like, yeah. But that's basically what she said. She said like, no, we're not going to put taxes on companies, blah blah blah. And she's basically saying like, this energy cap freeze thing that she's putting on is going to be paid with taxpayers' money. So we're still going to be paying for it.
Yeah.
Like, but she just point blank refuses
to say
tax these
we're
companies.
not taxing the poor to Right, you mentioned PMQs. I want to say controversial opinion. Although I don't think it's controversial if you kind of get my viewpoint, if you know what I mean. I think PMQs is solely and entirely performative. That's how it works. Like, right. My main issue is the opposition, like, Keir Starmer specifically, right? He only gets 2 questions to speak, right? To say. And then, obviously, the government is going to know exactly what he's going to say regardless. So they already have a response already, like, scripted up and ready and dressed and whatnot. So, yeah. I don't know. For me, I did enjoy PMQs because, like, in politics, like, in college, I'm not sure if you remember, James, it was, like, really funny just to watch.
Oh, yeah, we used to watch it all the time, didn't we?
It's the greatest pantomime to ever exist. Yeah, like, it's funny. But... yeah,
it's funny, but then it gets to a point where it's like
it's really repetitive.
when you really understand what's going on in the country and it's all these problems. You're watching it, you just think it's ridiculous. Like the stuff that they come out with, and you're like, really, like with Liz Truss, like she didn't say anything definitive at all in that PMQs. It was all sound bites.
Exactly.
And it pissed me off. It was like
it's very scripted from what you can see of
it. And it's just like you're not actually saying anything.
Yeah, she's just following a script. It's my main issue with PMQs for a while now. Like, it's just following a script for the PM and to say how great he's doing as, like, a leader, and he's doing stuff for the country, pretty much. Like, that's what the backbench of the Tory party government will do.
Yeah.
And, it's stupid.
Yeah, she, after Keir Starmer basically saying, he then went on the rant, he said, it's... and he made a very good point. Because it's like they come in and it's like, oh, we've got a new prime minister, and they expect us to believe that it's a new government. It's a different government. It's a different. It's like no, it's not.
It's the exact same government.
It's the same. Yeah, there's some. The cabinet gets shaken up a little bit every now and again, but
it's the exact
same Tory government that
it's
we
the same
had,
vision and same manifesto.
For 12 years, And so and he said nothing changes. It's the same old Tory government. And then she turned around and said after he was going on about having a windfall tax, she said, and that same old Labour, all they want to do is tax and spend, and that's what really pissed me off. It's just like, that's what we do want to do, though. But I do want to do that. I do want to tax these companies. Why are they allowed to be making billions of pounds in profit extra now, when people are literally choosing between fucking
whether
food
to have fuel
and heat?
or food? It's so dumb. Right. Moving on. I want both your opinions on this. Do you think young people should be involved in politics more?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I've been listening to. I'm not sure if you heard of this podcast called The Rest is Politics. Also, another
Yeah.
Acast podcast.
I
with-
listen to that a lot.
Yep, Alistair Campbell and Rory
Yeah, I
Stewart
love
are
it.
amazing. I love them.
Love Alistair
Like,
Campbell.
so yeah, shout out to those guys. But like, they're already #1 spot on podcasts anyway. But, like, that's how I catch up on politics mostly, majority of the time.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, they were talking about how young people need to be more involved in politics. Me and James pretty much agree because we've been in politics at one point or a certain point. I'm curious what Jake wants to think about this specifically, like with politics.
Well, I feel like at the moment there's been so many decision making in government that affects young people, and
Yeah.
nobody's really either gives a shit or is actually being involved in it. They're just getting generations changing rules, making things worse. Like I just read an article about now with university loans, you know how it gets wiped after 30 years.
Yeah.
They've increased it now to 40 years.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's really heard about that.
I did a while back, but I've never mentioned it. I think that's why, because
I think the problem is now,
Ridiculous, man.
like when we were in college, it seemed like I don't know whether it was because I was more involved in politics back then, but
yeah, I mean, we both were.
it seemed like there was a lot more young people involved, especially in the Labour Party locally in Bolton. I remember there was loads of people involved.
I'd
And I
say
get
that-
people move on and do different things, but even now, I keep a track of it. I see their posts and pictures of them going canvassing.
Ryan Quick,
And it just it doesn't look the same anymore. Like there aren't really that many young people as it used to be. And I genuinely think it's the same reason as why. Well, one of the reasons why I ended up moving away from it was because people have they're just fed up, they're disillusioned with it now, and they've just lost all their hope and their effort to actually try and be involved. Because I think they just think, well, what's the point now? It's literally got to that point where the country's gone to shit, and it like they're just like, there's no point anymore. I
mean,
get it.
Yeah,
I get it. That's what I did.
I mean, I kind of moved on because like I didn't want to focus on becoming a solicitor specifically in law. Although I'm taking a year out specifically to figure things out, like with myself personally. But I do. I know I'm not just involved in politics at the moment specifically, if you know what I mean. Like, but I keep a track of it, if that makes sense, and I talk about it at work. Like, I remember in my workplace at Sainsbury's, it used to be so taboo to talk about politics, and now it's just really normal because I bring it up all the time.
Yeah.
It's just irony, really. Like, I remember people that like say, no, we don't talk about politics here. Now they're like, yeah, we do now because I'm here, lol. Because I always have like, I'm very open-minded, I guess, when it comes to other people's opinions on politics compared to other people. If that makes sense.
Yeah, me too. I do like to listen to people and their viewpoints.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I've kind of regressed back to my former self when I was in college, where like, if you're a Tory or you support the Conservatives, I will listen to you, but I can't help
sincere,
but say like I don't like you. Like I have a dislike for people who, and that's putting it lightly. I have a dislike for people who continue to support them and vote for them. Yeah. Because at this point, my argument is that
look how much they screwed up the country.
Yes, you can always argue that maybe you're doing all right under the Tory government. But
look at the other people.
It gets to a point after 12 years where you can't use the argument of, oh, sorry, I didn't realise anymore, or like, sorry, I didn't realise like that was happening and people were struggling. Like it's everywhere. Everywhere you look, everyone's telling people how much they're struggling, how much everything's being fucked over. You can't be that blind to be like, oh, I didn't realise that people were struggling. I didn't realise that businesses were failing. It's like, how can you not realise? How can you be that blind that you just keep voting for him and you don't realise what else is going on? So that's why I have a dislike for these people now, because for me, there is no way in hell that you can be that blind and ignorant to what's going on around you to carry on voting for him. So I for me, there's no excuse to be voting for him anymore.
And my take on that
is you're choosing to do that.
My take on that as well is like, obviously a lot of people voted based on the basis of Brexit. Like that didn't help either specifically. Like it was the way politics has been for like the last, I don't know, I'd say not 10 years. 10 years. Well, yeah, it's been very populist, and
Yeah.
I know. In my opinion, I'm not really a fan of populism myself. I feel it's a very facade version of politics, if that makes sense. Personally, that's just me though. Like, I mean, I loved Ed Miliband personally. I don't know why, but like, there's something about that era of Labour, and I guess Keir's trying to move back to that era. I guess soft left Labour. Obviously, people disagree with me on that because they like, they love Jeremy Corbyn and they love momentum and all that. I know. I feel like, right. Okay, I'll say this now about Corbyn. He reinvigorated the youth, like the youth vote.
100%.
Yeah. But I feel like when it came to like issues like Brexit, he was sat on the fence, and that's why we lost.
Yeah.
Like genuinely. Like,
I think that has a factor in it as well, for why we don't see as many young people involved in politics anymore, because under Corbyn, when he became leader of the Labour Party, you saw a massive surge of young people joining unions and joining the party and joining other parties as well. It wasn't just Labour Party, but he encouraged loads of people to get involved on both sides of the fence
as well.
And that was massive.
Tory membership, went up slightly. So did
and I feel like now, like after he's gone and we've got Keir Starmer, it's just, I don't know. I've warmed up to him a little bit recently, but for me, I just don't think he has that same. I don't think he shows the same passion.
I like that charisma.
I don't think he doesn't really have
that image,
I don't think he doesn't have that ability to inspire young people like Corbyn did. Like,
he's a very
really
stale, stereotypical conservative, and I get why people call him a Tory. It's mostly just because he's like your standard politician, really.
Yeah.
And I know. For me personally, I'm comfy with that. Yeah. I guess I'll take away from this is like the youth vote really needs to fucking get its shit together. Like genuinely though, like.
I mean, I genuinely feel. I think. I don't know. Back in 2017, it was the right time for Corbyn, I think, but I think now is as well. I think what the country needs now is some radical approaches, honestly, because if we can get the Tories out, perfect. But then getting Keir Starmer in, like, we need some radical policies to start changing this country around. It's not going to happen with little policies that take a long time to be implemented, a long time to see results. I think now's the sort of time where you should be making those big, radical ideas and putting them into place. Well, like a windfall tax. I know he does support that, but it's whether he would really fully go through on that and really go after those tax havens.
Shell,
we need someone
Shell,
who will do that.
Your big oil companies, like BP.
Well, it doesn't surprise me either that Liz Truss is so against a windfall tax, because I mean, she's a former Shell employee, so I'm not surprised that she's very timid to very hesitant to
not
approach
piss
those
off
companies.
the exactly.
Her former employers.
And I don't know. All right. Another thing I do want to catch up on is I've started volunteer work every Thursday. So I work for Citizens Advice, and I know it's fascinating. Like, it does kind of reinforce my left-wing views, even though we're not meant to be political. It does seem like we are kind of political at the same time. If that makes sense. We're helping like people that are like in very difficult positions, like with legal advice on like cost of living, employment laws. Like, let's say they got laid off. It does seem like a very bottom down structure, and it reminds me of the Labour Party and what we campaigned for. That's the irony of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm getting really re-involved back in politics now, like just slowly though, not like to like 2017 levels, if that makes sense, but like I'm getting there, I guess.
Me, that's what I'm sort of like. I recently I've been very seriously considering rejoining a Labour Party, and not just rejoining it and paying the membership fees and not doing anything.
I'm in that spot now where I'm still a member, but like I basically just play the membership and do nothing. But
I'm very much considering rejoining properly, going to all the meetings and doing as much campaigning and as I
Yeah.
can fit in between work.
My issue is though, like, because of this volunteer work and the nature of my job, which is Twilight, I can't really do that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But like, I don't know. I guess I just need someone to motivate me out to go out and do it as well. If that makes sense. It's why I have the willpower to
Yeah.
go to the gym now. Like, because I have friends to go to the gym with.
Mm.
Like, I've been put off going to the gym, like, because I feel like I'll be judged going alone. If that makes sense. Like, to be fair, I'm introverted. I'm very uncomfortable in like massive social spaces. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's something about going with friends, really. And yeah, personally, been like, I'm pretty sure you both know, I've been getting through some very tough times personally, like what's
Yeah.
going on with my family and all that. So yeah, I know. I guess with like friends and all that, it's ironic that I get better along with my friends than like some members of my family. I guess it's a bit unusual to say. Well,
That's
I'd say
fair
it's not
enough.
unusual, but you know, so it's normal for some people, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
You
yeah.
might see me very very soon,
Mhm.
mooching about, knocking on your doors.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am getting back to that point now. I do want to be back involved in it. I mean, the good thing about it is as well, now that I'm out of the police, I no longer have those restrictions on me where
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to be political. I can't post anything. I can't be involved. I can't be a member of a party or anything like that, or a union. So with all those restrictions gone, it's like, ooh, I can do it now. And I think that's another reason why it's like it's encouraging me to do it, because I think, well, make use of it while I can.
Yeah.
Get back in it.
I know how it's what we can end this on as well, because it's been a very unusual episode, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, what other issues do we have in terms of politics we could technically talk about? Because honestly, it's been fascinating, I guess.
I think, I don't know, like one of the things that I picked up from from watching the PMQs on Wednesday, that another thing that really annoyed me was that Liz Truss was going about, well, like, one of her main reasons for not imposing a windfall tax was because if we put a windfall tax on these companies, then we're gonna like kind of deter them from investing in our country. All those great investments that they do into our country are going to deter them, and we won't get them anymore, guys. And that was basically one of her main reasons.
So her main reason.
I just thought, what a load of bollocks.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, a windfall tax is probably going to defer some companies. You'll be like, oh, it's not great that they're doing that, but they're not all just going to up sticks and leave. And if they fucking do, how about, as a government, invest in the country yourself, invest in business yourself, and start doing things in-house. But they won't do that because it's conservatism, and they very, very much believe in this idea of a
trickle
small,
down economics,
of a small state as well.
That's my point I was going to make.
Yeah, and they believe in a small state where the government doesn't really get involved that much in people's lives. It kind of deals with stuff day to day, but it we don't want to get too involved. So I don't want that. I that's why I much prefer like the Labour.
It's the whole
Labour sort of way of it.
It's the whole night watchman state argument. It's so dumb.
It doesn't work.
The government should not interfere with your life. It's like very Ronald Reagan-esque type thing.
Yeah.
The irony is you want a small state, but you want a massive police force at the same time as well. How does that work? It's dumb. Again, like, how are you going to fund that police if they're so underfunded? It's the irony of conservatism, really.
And at that point as well, yes, of course, you can carry on with your small state ideas, but at some point you've got to realise that you have to step in. It's like with the cost of living, they have to step in, and what they're doing is they're putting this freeze on, which I think it's freezing it to $2,500 a year now for energy prices is now what it's being frozen at, which is all well and good, but it's not bringing the price down. It's just leaving it at where it is at that number. And it's not coming from any sort of corporation tax or windfall tax.
It's coming from us.
It'll be paid off by us lot over the next couple of decades. It'll be borrowed.
Literally anything that's not taxing them properly.
Yeah.
Literally fucking anything. Oh, Labour same old tax and spend, mate. All you're doing is taxing the fucking people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And wasting the money on shit nobody wants. How much do we spend on a train nobody asked for? How much did they spend? How much did they spend on track and trace where the French were going to give it to us for a
free?
Fraction of the price? It's just, honestly, it's so fucking dumb, this country.
Yeah.
Oh, but of course, it's a very, very important train project because it knocks off like 30, 40 minutes or something stupid off the train journey. Whoa! Oh my god!
I'd rather have more frequent trains. I'd rather have trains that come on time.
Yeah.
I'd rather not spend like £7.10 to go like 5 miles.
The irony is as well, right?
I don't need to get to London 40 minutes quicker because here's the thing. I don't use HS1
because it's too fucking expensive as well. That's the only people
that are using it day to day are MPs, Northern MPs, and Scottish MPs who are travelling down. They're the only people that need it, and if they need to be there 40 minutes earlier than they usually get there, how about get an earlier one? Set off sooner, start your journey quicker. No, well, we're going to spend. It's like tens of billions of pounds now on a fucking train that goes a little bit faster.
Don't get me started on the charlatans with like the whole Northern Powerhouse project. It's so dumb.
And they've been compulsory purchasing a lot of people's land. People who've lived there for decades, like families that have lived there for decades, got a lot of history, and a lot of them are like listed buildings as well. And I was saying to Jacob the other day at the Conservative Party hustings before Liz got elected. As a Conservative member, this lady was bawling her eyes out to Rishi Sunak because they compulsory purchased her house and her land, and she hasn't even received the money for it yet.
Yeah.
And so they don't have the money to build or buy their new house. It's like, what the fuck is going on? What is going on?
And at the end of it, are we going to own this new train line? No, we're going to
sell it to like an Indian corporation because that's what the Conservatives do with like British Steel, by the way, or MG. You know, the car manufacturer that claims to be British but is owned by like an Indian conglomerate.
No, it's China.
Is it Chinese?
Yeah, I swear it's owned by, is it Geely? I might be wrong. But
I thought it was Indian.
No, MG's.
Yeah.
MG's Chinese, Jaguar Land Rover's owned by Tata.
Yeah. Don't get me started on the whole irony of saying something like global Britain, and you're going to be like more self-isolationist by leaving, you know, the biggest trading bloc in the world, the EU. Don't get me, like, it's so stupid. Like, how can you be a global Britain? Yeah, we want to do our own trade deals. You can do that through the EU. Like, the EU has set regulated standards. Like, look at the whole issue with like Ireland and Northern Ireland. It's dumb. Like, the whole training standards issue, like, it could have been solved so easily. But just, no. This is the issue with Brexit, is you want to leave, but also want your cake and eat it. You can't have it both ways.
No, you can't.
Yeah. It's just so stupid. Yeah. Yeah. And, I guess another thing I wanted to talk about as well... I genuinely think the public have been so conditioned to living under how awful this Conservative government is. They've just been conditioned to think nothing can get better. It does seem like that.
Yeah. And that's the problem. People there's a lot of apathy now, and it's like no one's really
towards politics.
A lot of people aren't really doing it, doing anything about it. Whereas now is a time where people need to be getting involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Getting their views out there.
Like, I don't give a crap if you don't care about politics or whatever. If you actually think of the state you're living in at the moment and you think it's bad, well, there's a reason for that. It's literally our political system. It's our way of life. I'm sorry, like, people that say I don't get involved in politics. I'm sorry, politics will eventually get involved in your life in some way, shape, or form. Whether that be paying council tax or your bins for your, you know, that you put out in your drive outside your house or your drive every single like week. Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. So yeah, for those of you that are saying politics doesn't matter, I'm sorry, it does. And if you're living under a rock as a young person, realizing how crap life is, it's because of politics. You have to realize that, and at one way, shape, or form, like, you will be dragged into politics, and whether that's, I don't know, someone like me you meet as a friend, unironically, or you find like-minded people, I guess. But, you know,
I think the problem is a lot of people see politics as
old shouting white men.
Yeah, but not even that. I think they see it, especially young people tend to see it as something that's like they don't understand. It's really confusing. It's really like sort of adult, and they don't want to get involved in it, and it doesn't affect them that much. But the irony is, I mean, politics is just everyday things.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Exactly.
It affects everything.
It's not about party politics. It's not about
politics. Is how much money you pay for your bus fare. It's how much money you pay for your train. It's all these different. It's so many different things that it affects. It's actually everything.
It's ironic because me and my friend, like, unironically, before I hope people don't figure this out, but I will be charging people £5 on Sunday when they use my car because of fucking fuel costs. It's stupid as shit. Like, I'm just saying that now, but like, I have no choice. Like, it's just I'm literally doing a part-time job. I'm earning like £9.50 an hour. Great. Again, fucking fuel. I do volunteer work in a different town, like over. Start to pay fuel for it, if you know what I mean. Even though they reimburse expenses and all that, it's not fun. The irony is, it's kind of ironic as a left-wing person that I actually love my car. It's like my own personal space I can like stay in and enjoy. But it's very left. It's like if you think about the concept of the car, it's very right-wing. It's like it's very individualistic. It's weird. And yeah, it's probably why I've been put off taking the train for ages now. Personally, I mean, I've done it a few times. It's fun, but it's just expensive. It's my main issue, public transport as well. And yeah. If you guys are complaining about fucking train tickets and bus tickets, blame the Conservatives because they privatised it. So, you know, if you really don't give a crap about that shit, well, I'm assuming you live at home as like an obese rock dwelling, like, you know, under a rock. Like,
it's always the same thing though.
Yeah.
The people, I remember when I used to canvass a lot for the Labour Party, and the people who are always voting Conservative, it's always it's a lot of pensioners, which confuses me and always has. I understand if your pension is with a lot of money, because one of the biggest things about people who vote Conservative tend to have a lot of money, so they're all right. You know, I'm all right, Jack. I'm fine by myself. But like pensioners, and a lot of them I speak to, they're just not regular people. They don't have a lot of money, and it used to confuse me because I thought, you're screwing yourself over.
Exactly.
Like, you're not one of these people that like is self-employed or owns a business and, you know, is actually doing quite well under the Conservatives. You're just a regular person earning a pension, which has been cut. Like, the pension ages are going up, and all these pensioner benefits and all this, they all get cut all the time and are going down. But yeah, they still vote for him. And I just think, like, I don't get it. Like, you may as well just, I don't know, you're just shooting yourself in the back. And I used to try and explain it to them all the time, and they
wouldn't listen.
They just won't get it. And you speak to them for like half an hour on a doorstep, thinking, yeah, I've convinced someone here to change over.
But they won't.
And then you'd go over after the election, you'd go and speak to them again, and you'd say, all right, so did you vote for someone else? And did you vote for Labour? They'd be like, oh, well, I thought about it, and I looked at the other parties, but I don't know, I just didn't know what to do, so I just ended up doing what I usually do. I voted Conservative. Yeah. It's like, fuck off at that point. Yeah. Honestly, you feel like turning around to them on a doorstep. It's like, I'm sorry, you might be an old lady. Sorry, Brenda, but just fuck off, piss off.
Yeah. I know, like, we lost 2019, if you know what I mean. Like, as both of us being Labour members, me and James. But like, there was some satisfaction when I was campaigning with the Labour Club in Lancaster for Cat Smith, like Lancaster and Fleetwood. And we retained that seat because we knew it would be like a really marginal seat. It's not a safe seat. Like Bolton South East, my MP Yasmin Qureshi, she's got like the safest seat in the world because everyone here votes Labour regardless of like a general election.
Because her constituency is got quite a large Asian population, and which on the vast majority consistently vote Labour.
Exactly.
So it's a very safe seat for her to be in.
Yeah, and I guess I'm part of that group as well. Like, like as well. You got the hospital here, like NHS nurses and all that live nearby. My parents, literally, they're the type of people to vote Labour until they die. Like, You can't persuade them otherwise. It's the same with me. I will be voting Labour till like my last breath, probably. Like yeah, but like when it came to like Lancaster and Fleetwood as a constituency, it was really close. Like I'm not even joking. If I recall, if someone can get the results up, can't remember, but like it was really close as result wise. Like, and I'll say I'm happy for Kat. I know I don't really see eye to eye a majority of the time with what she says, I guess. But like, yeah, it was only like a 2,000 vote difference. Like, yeah, imagine if we didn't do any like elections at all. Like nothing, like zero campaigning, like in Lancaster and like down in Fleetwood. Although what I know from this constituency is like a Fleetwood was very marginal itself. This was an area because Fleetwood, it's like it's a deprived area. Like if you look at Blackpool, got amazing facade, right? Like the illuminations and all that. And when you look behind all the terraced housing, it's just an impoverished area. It's the same with Fleetwood. And yeah, that place was like voting kind of unironically massively conservative because of Brexit and populism. It says much really about our politics now. It's very how do I describe this? Dirty I'm not sure if dirty is a good word to use, but it does seem like that.
Decent public transport.
Nah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Imagine using the tram and not getting ripped off. That's so strange.
I mean, the Met's alright, weirdly. I don't like using the Metrolink, unironically. I actually enjoy going on the Met.
Getting ready soon.
Yeah. You're heading off soon?
Yeah, it's quite.
Yeah, I mean, we've pretty much done a recording for 40 minutes, so I guess we can end it here. But yeah, this is like a quick episode, because we missed last week, obviously, because I was off. And yeah. Anyway, it's nice. So yeah, I guess we'll wrap the pod here. Alright.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
Ciao.
Bye.